Final round, Brazil.
It's always very unpredictable here at Interlagos. 2.7 miles, 15 corners, a perfect challenge. Who will be brilliant in Brazil?
2 lights, 3, and the Brazilian Grand Prix is go! On his gearbox.
Obviously the cars are heavy with fuel off the line, less fuel on the grid than you would have at normal altitude racetracks. About 8% less fuel is required, so you could argue it's putting less energy into the tyres here, so in theory you should be able to go that little bit further. That said, with altitude you lose downforce, so the car will slide around a little bit more, overheating the compound.
Tremendous first lap here. He's got at the inside this time. That's interesting.
Off onto the grass.
This is just a grudge match, isn't it, within Team Lotus, changing its name, of course, next year to Caterham. Will lose Team Lotus. I think they're going to keep the same colours, so that will fall away from Formula One.
Thanks very much.
he'll get in with the benefit of the toe, I would have thought, into turn one.
Gets the job done down into turn one. 800 metres of altitude here above sea level, and that quite dramatically affects the cars, doesn't it?
Does indeed. You get less horsepower, about 8% less horsepower at this altitude. That means you use less fuel. You also get less downforce. Now you get a bit less drag as well, as the air density is a little bit lower, but that takes away the total feeling of grip and acceleration from the drivers, but it's the same for everyone.
Yeah, the engine can feel a little bit gutless here, and it can also feel quite slippery. Flat out to the line. I hate this corner, it scares me. The end of the pit lane is just to the left-hand side of the end of the pit wall, I should say. Through turn 5, another corner that used to be terrifying, and now it's just somewhere they take a rest and check the 27 dials on their steering wheel.
I'm getting the impression that this track used to scare you.
It did used to scare me a lot, because there's nowhere to go, and it was so bumpy, and the cars were leaping around. They've got different challenges now.
Well, that is not going to help the chances, you know.
Well, we both charged down to that first corner, David, here many times between us. I remember ducking underneath. Michael Andretti was bouncing along the barriers there once in a McLaren, but you were knocked out of your final Grand Prix in that corner through no fault of your own too. It's a pretty nasty corner, isn't it?
Well, it is indeed. It's a very long entry all the way through to the apex. It's a good sort of 50 metres from where they start to turn in to the point at which you will apex. In many ways, what that does is allow the cars to funnel into turn 1, but it gives a bottleneck into 2, which is where I went out of the race in 2008. But just wait and see. A lot will come down to the initial getaway, of course, but then the curve deployment. How much curve do you use to run to that first corner, and how much do you use to defend or attack around the rest of the lap?
And collecting the curves up on this short lap, quite difficult as well, isn't it? Recharging the system, harvesting they call it technically. Oh dear, nightmare on pit lane. The medium tyres with the white markings on. We've got medium and soft here. The soft tyre as Pirelli get more and more competitive and edgy for next year. The soft tyre today becomes the medium tyre for 2012. unless you're absolutely alongside somebody, that you're not going to dive up the inside of turn 4.
Grand Prix drivers look absolutely awesome. Another day they look like they couldn't drive sheep, and it's a sheep day today.
Ash now coming under increasing pressure.
Job done to me. I wondered if DRS would be as effective here, but it's very effective, isn't it? That's almost too easy, don't you think?
And he starts picking up a toe from the hole in the air made by the McLaren.